Well, Spencer Treat Clark has entered Remake Elite status. There's a remake for Salem's Lot. I've never seen the original until now. Anyway, let's review it. Salem's Lot stars Lewis Pullman, Mackenzie Lee, Spencer Treat Clark, and is directed by Gary Doberman.
Things have gone bad in the lot now.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new 2024 review, the remake of Salem's Lot. I love vampire movies. This was irresistible, but I have not seen, until recently, the original 1979 movie, and I didn't even realize that there was one with Rob Lowe from 2004. So jumping into 2024, I really enjoyed the movie, and maybe that's a testament to not seeing the original, and maybe if I had seen the original first, maybe I would not have liked it, or I might have poked fun at it more. So maybe there's a lesson there. If you've never seen the originals and a remake comes out, maybe watch the remake first, because you might have fun twice instead of once, right? So yeah, I can't remember who sent me this, but somebody sent me this years and years ago, and they even left a little nice note, but they didn't even leave their name, and I should remember, but this has been years and years ago. I've owned this, and I finally watched it right after watching the new one that's on Max, and this is phenomenal. Like, I am mad at myself for waiting this long to watch this amazing film. And this is 3 hours long, and I think that's what kept me from watching it. I remember one time, a couple of years ago, I threw it in, didn't have much time, and only watched like a couple minutes of it, and I was like, nope, I just can't do this right now, because I needed to be fully invested. So last night after I watched the one on Max, I was just inspired. I was like, okay, I need to finally watch this. So at least when I review this movie, I can kind of compare a little bit to this version, directed by the great Tobe Hooper. This might be one of my favorite Tobe Hooper films. This might be one of my favorite vampire films. It's that good. The original, okay? Not this new one. But I still had some fun with the new one, and I do give it some pros compared to this. Not saying it's better, but I like that they tried some different things with the new one, even with some similar setups, but maybe taking it in a different direction action-wise. Yeah, it's different enough than the original to kind of stand on its own. So I'm going to put this away, even though I don't want to let it go because I love it so much. Oh my God, you're so great. You're so wonderful. Nightmare Fuel, over and over. I will definitely review this, give it a full review, probably down the line, maybe within the next month. I'll try to do it maybe this month, okay, if you guys want it. Catalog reviews these days, they don't get the traction that they used to for some reason. You guys like the new release stuff. I have no control over that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to review this one, okay? And I'll do it for you because I love you. But yeah, it just catalog reviews, man, they're tough. I just dropped one this morning for Insomnia. You can see they don't get the traction. For some reason, people don't like the catalog reviews that much. They eventually get traction, but I'm rambling. Let's get into the new movie. So anyway, let's give you a quick plot synopsis. This is based on a Stephen King novel, I think one of his most loved, and it's about this little town of Salem's Lot. Salem, short for Jerusalem's Lot. But there is this guy named Mr. Barlow that comes into town, or let's just say his keeper transports him into town. As soon as he shows up, that's when all the vampire tomfoolery starts happening. Now, quickly comparing this to the original, plot-wise, this hits the ground running. You don't see that crate in the original until a good 30-45 minutes into the movie. This opens with the crate, and I'm not mad at that. I like that this chose the route of just going a more straightforward, action-oriented, let's get to the point, just a straight-up horror movie without feeling like you need to go beat by beat with the novel. I haven't read the novel, of course, and I'm sure the novel even goes further. I think the novel suits a television series more than it does a movie. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And I think they chose, hey, let's cut away all the quote-unquote fat from the book, from the 79 movie, and let's just make a really fast-paced Salem's Lot movie. Still giving you the gist of the story along the way. It'll be quick, but we'll try to touch base on all those little things, those little checkpoints. One thing that's really great about the overall story of Salem's Lot is the characters. Much like most of Stephen King's books, he is just a master at giving you really good, rich characters, and this is no exception. If this were the treatment they went with out the gate, like in, say, 79, then I don't think the characters would have been as strong. They're more like glossed over in this than they are in the original movie. But you get enough of the characters, I think. Lewis Pullman plays Ben Mears. He is our main character coming into town, and he meets the people that make up this small town of Salem's Lot. Small town horror movies are irresistible because everybody's into everybody's business, and word usually travels really fast. But also, I think the characters, like say your main 5 characters, they stand out more in a small town environment than they do in, say, like a big city environment. But this whole thing starts with the kids going into the woods. They're curious about the Barlow estate, and once they get there, of course, they are attacked, and then that's when the vampire stuff starts taking hold. One thing that's different about this movie too is the drive-in setting, which I love. I have a thing for drive-in movie theaters, and that location-wise plays a big part in this movie. It's even in the final act of the movie. That's just fun stuff. I love the scene where you have Ben and Susan sitting on like a rooftop and just, getting to know each other. That's a good character building moment, and she's kind of talking about the different people in the town. Nobody's perfect, right? And everybody's mistakes in the town, they seem to crop up, so everybody knows what's going on. Now, I mentioned Spencer Treat Clark in the intro. Huge fan of his. I think he was robbed of Gladiator 2. He played the original Lucian. It drove me crazy that they, nothing against Paul Mescal. Phenomenal current actor, and that's the key word there. He's the big hot guy today. I think that's why they gave him the role, but I think Spencer Treat Clark deserved it. He's just a working character actor who's a good-looking guy. And you've probably seen him crop up time and time again, and he's been in quite a few remakes. He was in the last House on the Left remake. He was in the Town That Dreaded Sundown remake, and now he's in the Salem's Lot remake. He might be in more, I'm not even sure, but he's been in a lot of remakes, and he always turns in a really compelling and interesting performance, and this is no exception. He is one of the standout characters, the gravedigger, and boy did he have some big shoes to fill, filling Jeffrey Lewis's shoes. That is Juliette Lewis's father, but man, he is like one of the biggest character actors. He was in Every Which Way But Loose. He was in a lot of TV shows like The Incredible Hulk. He's just a Hollywood legend as far as I'm concerned, and he was perfect and had one of the creepiest, scariest scenes in the original movie. We'll get to the scares, but Spencer Treat Clark, I think he's one of the standouts in this movie. And I like how they dealt with his vampire scenes. They went kind of a different direction with how the horror played out with him. Now, one reason I knew that this movie was filmed quite a while back is because Nicholas Covetti, who plays in The Boys, he's a teenager now, and he looks like a little kid in this movie, which tells me this was probably done quite a few years ago. And I had heard all these rumors about Salem's Lot in the remake, and it just seemed to never get released, and then finally it's released. But there's your clue right there. Nicholas Covetti playing Danny Glick. I think the child actors are fine in this. I think Mark, who is like the lead child actor, Jordan Preston Carter plays him, and I think he does a fine job. There's some nice little winks and nods to Mark. I love the guy who played Mark in the original. Again, just watched it, but he just really stood out. Now, jumping into the scares, the original is Nightmare Fuel, and guys, that movie was rated PG. Of course, 1979 PG is a different ballgame than 2024 PG, but man, that is some of the scariest imagery still to this day that I've seen. Having just watched this, that is some of the creepiest imagery ever. I remember seeing in top, 50 scares in Hollywood, and of course the window scene pops up. So I knew about the window scene, and that's great stuff too. Tobe Hooper really knew how to get under your skin. Just going with a simplistic nature, but for some reason, kind of like John Carpenter, it just really worked. He had a way of just freaking you out with just imagery. It wasn't about fancy camera tricks and whatnot. It was just more about practical effects and getting performances out of your actors that were just spine-tingling. And Jeffrey Lewis is a great example of that. But, you know, just the yellow eyes, practical looks so much better than using CGI eyes. It just does. But as far as the scares in the 2024 movie, I don't think anything's really scary in this movie. But the whole nature of Salem's Lot and how it deals with vampires alone is some really freaky shit. There's nothing beautiful about the vampires in this movie. And I think that's the vampire trait that I like in movies, when they don't play it like, say, Dracula, who is, you know, this seductive vampire. No, they go for the scares in this. The main vampire has, of course, a Nosferatu type look, Barlow. But yeah, I guess the big thing I liked about this movie was just how fun it was, how it just goes at a breakneck pace. Some might say, and I did hear a lot of complaints, that it moves too quick. It bounces from place to place without slowing down too quickly. And yeah, I could definitely agree with that. But I think this just gives you an alternative. If you want the more fast-paced Salem's Lot movie that's not like your gothic horror vibe of the original, then you could go with this movie. And it's, I guess, more of a modern approach, even though the movie takes place in the 70s. But, you know, I would definitely give this one a high humdrum. Really fun. If it came to physical media, I might buy it. I'm not sure. But after watching the original, and that movie is so freaking iconic, and that's just like legendary status. First watch, by the way, guys. Insane how great that movie is. Didn't hurt that it came out in 79, and that's just one of my favorite eras of horror movies. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of Salem's Lot when you get a chance to see it. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on this movie. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks. Got my Killer Flicks Wade, Fuck Off Wade shirt. You can buy that, by the way. I don't advertise my spread shirt. I'm a horrible marketer, okay? But yeah, you can buy it if you want. Also, you can become a Patreon member or a channel member. Buy me a coffee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdums out.